in 2011, at that point I'd been working at the library for 5 years, and I was anticipating some kind of career change, wanting to pursue some kind of new challenge in my working life. And I had been thinking, I'd asked myself, okay, Wendy, actually, if you could do anything, right? If you were to choose your dream job, what would it be? And I thought, well, I think running a movie theater would be my dream job, really. So I started to actually make some plans in that direction. I got a notebook. I'd write down all my ideas about what would make for a good cinema. Drawing out little floor plans, even talking to people a little bit, just thinking and also thinking what would be involved in creating a new single-screen cinema from scratch. One day in spring 2011, I was sharing this dream project with a friend of mine, Sina, who's a real estate agent. And when I told him this idea, he said, "Oh, well, that the screening room's for sale." And I was like, "What? The screening room is for sale? Like, are you kidding me?" So I, very quickly came down to the screening room, introduced myself to Terry, said a little bit about who I was, and said that, maybe I was interested in exploring the idea of whether, taking over the business was something that I could do, or thinking about this might be desirable. And Terry was wonderful, right? And she was wonderful in terms of giving me information about how the business worked, and so I was very quick to make an offer, and the offer was accepted, and then that summer 2011, I took ownership of the theater. So it was, I don't know, it's a pretty, I'm a very practical person for the most part, so it's kind of funny having such this, kind of follow your dreams, if you want something bad enough, chance and circumstance will conspire to make it happen. It's unusual to have this, the story of my ownership be, I don't know, so romantic in some ways. Since the beginning of cinema, the beginning of film, movies have been played on film reels and film strips. 35mm film has been the standard for decades and decades. The film projection equipment that we use, some of the components date back to the 1940s. 35mm has been like the technology for a very long time. When people think about going to the movies and they think about the cinema, they think about seeing movies being projected off of film. But of course, there's digital revolution going on. So many forms of media have switched to digital, and with good reason. It was just a matter of time. The celluloid film prints that we would exhibit were very much a scarce commodity. They would cost, I think they would cost the distributors about $1,500, $2,000 or $2,000 just to make a single copy of a movie. And if the movie was, say, an art house film or a specialty film that had a very limited audience, real niche audience, there might only be 1, 2, or 3 film prints to be shared among all the movie theaters in Canada. So we'd have these expensive film prints being shipped all over the country from theater to theater. And of course, Kingston, being a smaller city, we would often have to wait months until we could actually get our hands on a film print to play a movie. And of course, the film prints too, they're subject to being damaged, right? Like, you make a mistake, you can ruin a film print, or at least ruin a few seconds of the film print, or you can scratch the print or get it dirty or dusty. And so some of these film prints, once they've gone around to a number of movie theaters, they wouldn't be in the best shape by the time they would arrive here. And we definitely, I shouldn't say this, we definitely caused our own kind of fair share of damage to a few film prints, which was a great source of guilt and anxiety. So I definitely do have a sort of nostalgic, certain kind of romanticism with the equipment, but it is, those things were pretty expensive beasts. But in Kingston, there's a few people who knew about film and loved film and appreciated that technological detail. But the vast number of people just really don't really notice. I think it's great this is like a very positive development for independent theaters, because it allows you to play more movies, allows you way more flexibility, control over your programming, and allows you to be much more responsive to the communities and audiences that you serve. It becomes much easier to do special event programming. I guess as I've mentioned, we're able to get movies much closer to the Toronto release dates, and it allows us to do kind of exciting, vital programming that is an alternative from what's happening at the multiplex. I have a bunch of favorite movies, and it's always changing. I mean, actually, probably the funniest movie I can think of is The Big Lebowski. It's funnier every time I watch it. And in terms of contemporary filmmakers, I really like the Coen brothers, and Quentin Tarantino, Dardenne brothers, Michael Haneke. I used to love Disney movies, sort of feature-length animated Disney films when I was younger. And then even when I wasn't so young, I had a real interest in Disney, and I think Dumbo in particular is a beautiful film. If you're watching a movie in a movie theater, you're making a decision you've made a commitment that you are going to watch this movie. You're going to leave your house, you're going to get in your car, you're going to walk down the street, and you're going to go to the movie theater, and you're going to turn over your evening to watching this film. And I think sometimes just making that kind of mental commitment to watch something can be kind of powerful in terms of kind of tuning in your attention and kind of helping to kind of set good expectations. When you're choosing to watch a movie in the cinema, you're also choosing to watch that movie at the same time, in the same place, with a bunch of other people. And of course, those people are strangers, but there's still often kind of a neat feeling about that you and all these other people are choosing to watch the same thing at the same time. So it's a communal experience, even if you're not even talking to anyone. And of course, at the movie theater, of course, you have a big screen. Good, clear image that's going to be quite a bit different from what you would see if you're watching it at home on your TV or on your laptop. I mean, that's just to state the obvious. And of course, the sound, too, is going to be much fuller than what you'd probably get at home. So the technical presentation is probably going to be stronger than what you can do at home, unless you have some kind of crazy home theater setup. And of course, you go into the movie theater, when the movie starts to play, the lights go down, you're told to turn off your cell phone and cut off all distractions. So you're kind of giving yourself permission to be responsible to no one for 2 hours, except the movie and your own personal enjoyment. And I think particularly, I mean, it's maybe you go to the movies, maybe, some people might think of it as being a little bit of an adolescent pleasure, but I think it's a very adult pleasure to just say, okay, do you know what, for I'm responsible, for the other 22 hours of the day, I'm accountable to different people, I have my job, I have various things that I'm worried about and anxious about, and it's nice to, in a very kind of controlled way, just say, okay, for 2 hours I'm just going to forget about everything and enjoy myself at the theater. And I think it's hard, if you're watching a movie at home, it's sort of hard to, shirk responsibility in the same way, right? You might be kind of tempted to kind of check your email or answer the phone or, do work during that time if you're watching a movie at home. Or in the movie theater, you've kind of made your decision to watch and enjoy this movie. Having made that commitment to watch a movie in a movie theater, it just it opens you up to what the film has to offer, and you might be, you're more likely to kind of be touched or affected or connect with something in the film or even just be entertained by it. So.